Hey, before I kick off the podcast, I just want to shout out Next Door Clothing. Next Door, a clothing brand based out of Bondi in Sydney. They're making really nice jeans and shirts and hats. So go and check out their full range at nextdoorsydney.com. They're also artists, so you can go and check out a range of art. They put on rad parties, and I love what they're doing. So nextdoorsydney.com for the full range.
Tried to hold us back, tried to hold us back.
We will be here forever. Do you understand? Forever and ever and ever and ever. We will be here forever.
Hey, it's Shan here. This week I speak with UFC fighter Jamie Mullarkey. Those of you that listen regularly will know that Jamie has already been on the show this year. And it's because I've been lucky enough to document his fight journey in the UFC this year. Jamie spoke to me in every fight camp he's been in for the UFC this year, starting from Perth to his fight recently in Las Vegas to now his upcoming fight in Sydney at UFC 293, which is a huge deal. Those of you that are unaware of the popularity of the UFC, like that event sold out in 13 minutes. Like floor seats for that event were like $6,000, and like the nosebleed section seats were like $400 or $500. Like if you were lucky to get a ticket. So Jamie's literally in the top 1 to 2% of elite MMA athletes in the world. So I feel very honored to be able to spend time with him and get inside his head and document this amazing journey that he's on at this stage in his life. Jamie's a very focused individual. On the day of recording, I was joined by wildly talented photographer, Israel Brinsden. Israel is predominantly a skateboarding and snowboarding photographer, and he's quite well known for his work in those genres, but he's also like a huge MMA fan like me, so he was psyched to come down, and he shot some amazing 35mm film of Jamie training and got some amazing portraits with his film camera. And it's kind of like sort of sad that I feel like those photos are getting wasted on Instagram or social media. Like they need to be in an art gallery. Either way, check it out. Keep an eye out for his photos. But yeah, we went down to Central Coast MMA where Jamie trains, and it was sparring days. So we watched him spar about 10 or 11 3-minute rounds against literally some of the best fighters in Australia right now. So some other competitive fighters that are fighting in the Eternal MMA promotion. They've got some big events coming up and just going for it. And to see someone so on top of their game and so focused, it was really inspiring. I mean, I'm not an MMA podcast and I've never professed to be, but I guess maybe that's why Jamie likes talking to me, because I guess I have a different angle on what he's doing. I'm more sort of focused on getting into his mental state and how he's traveling in that way. He does a lot of media and other podcasts that are specific to MMA, so literally go and check out some of those where he talks in depth about fights and statistics and things like that. But yeah, we have a nice chat, and getting to know Jamie this year, the big thing that stands out for me is just he's a tough motherfucker. There's no doubt about that. But he's a kind soul, and these are the kinds of people I want to highlight. He's talking about his feelings. He advocates for the charity Talk to Me Bro, where he wants men to talk about how they're feeling and getting that out there and talking about their mental health and things like that. So it's just a rad dude. I love it. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. And as always, this episode is dedicated to my children, Clementine and Otis. So enjoy.
Destined to rock for eons, time doesn't exist. Shut those cataracts, capture the virtualist. Now, let's get back to what makes things seem forever, whether it's unseen, unheard, or 16 again. Not a bother, fill this old man river, kill a floor that gives all. Coming upstream, a quiver, slick style, easy rock, drop to the floor, lower to the earth, causes a cosmic shock pour. Kick a perfect 40-20 off a loop, bird boot softness. There's no substitute, do you compute?
always trying to stay a bit lighter on my feet, really. not to get too wide-legged, but yeah, that's just how I move.
Yeah, like, have you ever had coaches sort of talk about your stance?
Yeah, that's 100%.
And they support it? They don't try to change it?
No, well, Ross always says that I get too wide-legged. Like,
I was going to say, does he actually say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So we are. It's I guess it's just a habit I'm on.
Yeah. I guess too, like, that's the conundrum of a coach. It's like a balance between what feels comfortable for the fighter and, you know, what they think. Like, do you feel that Ross really supports what's most comfortable for you? Or?
Yeah, well, I've said that before, that I think the best thing about Ross is he tries to make you better at what you're good at. So, like, a lot of coaches make their fighters good at what they're good at, because it makes sense, right? Like, if I'm going to teach mixed martial arts, I'm going to teach people what I'm good at. So Ross does that, but he also, I'm a lot different to Ross. I'm a different body type. I'm longer. I'm like, we've got sort of different styles. So he caters to my style to make me better at what I'm good at. So yeah, no, it's a good little thing.
This is where I think your next fight's interesting. It's you're fighting against Mac Desi.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Ross Pearson's fought him.
Yes.
Okay. How much do you think this fight means to Ross? Or what does it mean to Ross, you think?
I think it's just like, it's just probably another fight, man. Like, I think it's just cool that it's come full circle. That's what like, people have asked me a couple of times now, like, oh, does it give you more motivation, the fact that he beat Ross and that? But not really, to be honest. It's not really extra added motivation, but I just think it's cool. It's like how good's martial arts? You know what I mean? Just like fighting. I'm now fighting a old rival of my coach, and yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So I guess Ross is coming in though to this fight with some real knowledge about your opponent.
Yeah.
I guess, are you applying some of this knowledge, or are you just treating it like you normally would in a normal fight camp? Yeah,
no, but having that knowledge of, like, he's shared the cage with him for 15 minutes. That's just perfect, man. It's a big advantage, I think, and like, also Ross moves like a lot like McDessie, and he's got the same body type. He doesn't really move like him, but he's got the same body type. Gotcha. I've been moving a lot with Ross, so he's good at imitating McDessie's style.
Yeah, because McDessie's quite experienced.
Yeah.
You've had 8 fights in the UFC now, correct?
Yep.
And you've fought a range of fighters, experienced and sort of newer fighters as well. What are some of the biggest observations you've made fighting, new fighters, young fighters, compared to experienced ones? I mean, obviously experience is the obvious answer, but what do you notice about them as fighters? What's the big difference?
Like, I think the composure.
Okay.
Yeah, when I fought Michael Johnson, I was just thinking the whole lead up to that fight, I was just thinking I've got to keep my composure, because he's going to definitely have that extra experience of being calm in the chaos. You know what I mean? And that only comes from years and years of doing it. Calm in the chaos. Yeah.
Did you feel calm in the chaos of sparring today?
Yeah, no, it was a lot of pressure today. It was good rounds.
How many rounds did you do, dude?
It was about 10
3-minute rounds.
Yeah, just threes. But it's funny, like, the 3-minute rounds are like more intense, I find.
Why?
Because you got 3 minutes. You've only got 3 minutes to work, so it's kind of like you touch gloves and it's like bah 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 bah. Like, both guys are just going. Whereas with 5 minutes, you got about a minute or so to figure each other out, like pace yourself a little bit more, But it's good rounds today, man.
Yeah, and I noticed that that cage seemed a bit smaller than the average cage. Like, how did that affect the session?
It's a Mexican boxing cage. That's what we call it. Just forces you to work, man. You haven't got much space, so you've pretty much got to go the whole time.
Nowhere to hide, bro. Nowhere to hide.
Yeah,
man. It's been such an honour. I mean, I've actually been able to talk to you now. This is the third time prior to 3 fights this year in the UFC.
Yep.
And so it's been great tracking your journey, your fight journey this year. And tell me what it means to you to be put on the Sydney UFC 293 roster.
Yeah, man. This is my dream. Like, fighting literally in my home backyard. I think it's been... My last fight was 2019, so 4 years. 4 years since I've fought in Sydney in home, and it's a long time coming, man. It's gonna be insane. So I'm looking forward to it, and looking forward to having that home crowd energy, having just like even just being an hour away from home, it's a big advantage, especially the no jet lag.
An hour,
The no jet lag is a massive, actually. I remember even in the Perth card, all the Aussie boys were like laughing, like going, "How good is this?" Like, it's just everyone was like feeling better, more on weight. No jet lag or water retention after the fight. So yeah, it's going to be good, man.
But even like Perth was a 5-hour flight. So that's still a bit of travelling. So
even then, it still felt a lot better. Still felt a lot better than a 20-hour flight.
Dude, like it's sold out in like 15 minutes or something. How exciting, eh?
Yeah, nah, it's big over here, man. It's just getting bigger. Everyone loves it.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, it's sick, man. I was thinking about you. Like, I think you're a bit of a gentleman. Like, you conduct yourself as a gentleman. Like, why don't you talk trash? Like, are you going to talk trash in the next press conference?
Nah, well, like, I think you shouldn't be anything that you're not. You know what I mean? It's just not my style to force like trash talk or anything like that. Like, if I ever had someone come at me with it, it'd be a bit of fun. I wouldn't mind it, but yeah, it's just not my style, man. Like, I've seen so many people try to be like Conor McGregor's, and like when it's forced, it's just so cringy.
It is cringy, hey?
Yeah.
I think people pick up on it as well.
For sure. Like, if you're good at it,
and
you can do it and be funny, like, hats off to you.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I had that sort of gift of the gab sort of thing, but when you're forcing it and it just doesn't come out right, you just look like a fucking dick.
What if he does come at you? You're gonna like give it back or what? Like,
yeah, I think I'd have a bit of fun with it.
Or you're just gonna like sort of like do the like a lot of fighters do when someone's talking trash, they sort of go the opposite way and just go quiet and that sort of like that quiet strength sort of.
Yeah. Man, I just see what happens. I don't really like look too far ahead with that sort of stuff, but yeah, it's like I think I'd have a bit of fun with it if someone was gonna come up with me with it.
Like, how many of your UFC fights have your parents been to?
2.
2, okay.
Yeah, so both the ones in Australia.
Sick.
Yeah, Melbourne and Perth.
Wow, and they're going to be at Sydney?
Yes.
Dude, how does that feel?
Yeah, it's cool, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty like I guess it'd be like a proud moment for them as well, Yeah. Being on the world stage, and because they were at all the local shows, even the ones with 500 people sitting around the ring. So now now we're at this. It's good,
man. I mean, as a parent myself, it'd be just such a pinnacle parent moment to see their child in that arena in front of all those people,
Yeah.
And now that you're, experienced in this, what are the nerve levels like at this stage in fight camp?
Man, I've done this a while now, so it's like you still get I still get sleepless nights, like, or not sleepless, but nights where you're waking up in the middle of the night and you're thinking about fighting, you're thinking about the fight. That'll never go away, I don't think. I think that's just always going to be there. But as far as handling the nerves coming into the fight, I'm pretty okay with it now.
Yeah.
Definitely the first couple in the UFC were a little bit shaky, but I feel like I got my feet under me now.
Yeah. Like, just to put, to give everyone a perspective, because most people will never experience what you're going to experience in terms of everything that comes with it. Do you think the familiarity with the process, like turning up to the press conferences and the ceremonial weigh-ins and then on the day in the change rooms and how the whole production is run, is understanding that better comforting?
100%.
So when you first had to go through those processes, was it just fucking, oh my God, what do I do now?
Yeah, it was never like heaps uncomfortable or anything, but even when you get more, I would just say, more familiar with everyone in the company, like just knowing people, knowing how it works, that I've kind of like, I'm a lot more familiar with it now, and that it just makes you feel better. It makes you feel more at home,
Yeah, for sure, man. I know, like, you've had a few situations now where, you've had either like real late calls on who you're fighting, or there's been a fighter change at the last minute. That happened with your last fight, right?
Yeah.
There was a change. Who was the first guy you were meant to fight?
Graham.
How do you say his last name?
Kutatalade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how late a notice was that? It's like a week out, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I was checking in for my flight to Vegas, and I got a FaceTime from Ross, and I was at the airport because he was in Fiji and he was meeting me over in Vegas, right? So I was checking in, and Ross FaceTimes me. I was like, it's kind of weird. I've never get FaceTimes from Ross, and he broke the news. He said Graham's out. He's can't get out of the country with visa issues, and it sucked, man, because we prepared for Graham, and it's just like mentally it was just a bit of a like letdown because I was so looking forward to having that mean scrap with him, and then just like even getting the news and I got on the flight not actually knowing if I would have a fight or not. They said that they would be getting me someone and doing their best, but it wasn't a guarantee. And then we had, I think it was Ryan Quick. I think that's his name, Ryan Quick or something like that. So we had him, but then he had concussion issues. So he had like a medical suspension. So he didn't get cleared to fight. And then I think, it was about the Tuesday I got given the Mahamajan.
And then you fought on the Saturday.
Yep.
Wow. So you were in Vegas when you found out.
Yeah. So
wow. I mean, how was it messing with your confidence levels in that space of not knowing?
To be honest, it didn't really mess around with me that much, but I think the only thing that it sort of did was like just question like when you're getting so ready for this one guy, and then when you get the opponent change, it was almost like this, because Perth, the same thing happened. I get given a debut guy, and it's all the risk is on me, all the pressure's on me, and it's like kind of like if you win, well, okay, you should have won or whatever, and this guy's stepping up on short notice. But if you lose, it's like the worst thing in the world. So just put me in that position again, and it just kind of like, in a way, maybe deflated me a little bit just on fight week. Just had that like that same feeling of like fighting a debut guy. Like it's dangerous, man. Yeah, fighting a nobody is really dangerous.
Well, they've got nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose, everything to gain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, but, like, it's no excuses, man. I was still stoked that I got a fight. But, yeah, it's just, like, I hope that, touch wood, me and McDessie make it to the fight both healthy.
Yeah, do you think the UFC looks favourably on you when you show that kind of adaptability, flexibility, willingness to work with them?
Yeah.
Not being a prima donna.
Nah, yeah. This is the fight game, man. And this shit happens. Like, if anything, I was thankful that they got me a fight. Because this is our payday, man. This is our livelihood, you know. If I went all the way to Vegas and didn't get a fight, I didn't get paid. It's just unfortunate the way that it worked out. But again, this is the fight game.
Okay. See, these are the words of someone who's seasoned and experienced, you know. Yeah, because I know, like, I could imagine that deflated feeling. And you just mentioned, like, at this phase of your fight camp, you know, are you just, what are the things you're looking out for the most in terms of making sure you're getting to that date safely?
Yeah, I think just listening to the body, man.
Okay.
Listening to the body, like on those, that's where Ross is good because he pulls me back when he can see that there's no need for that extra round.
Okay.
It could be like, there's just like time and time again where fighters, if there's not someone to look over them and pull them back, they do push that extra mile and go that bit too much, and then that's when injuries happen, you know. Yeah. So no, I think listening to the body is the biggest thing that you can do, and then just training with people that you trust, people you trust and know. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're getting a lot of different looks at the moment in your sparring.
Yeah, heaps of different looks, man, and good bodies for McDessie. I really do feel like here at my gym at Central Coast MMA, we're getting all the right looks, all the right bodies. Yeah, it's going well.
Yeah. You've got a significant reach. It's always been something that's been in your favour. And I know that you are taller than him as well.
Yep.
In this fight, like, is there, obviously you don't want to share too much, but in terms of game plan, you know, will you be shooting for takedowns and things like that, or are you going to keep him on the feet?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I think, man, I honestly think every single fight is the same for me. It's mix it up. I've got a whole MMA arsenal. Like, I'm not a striker, I'm not a grappler, I'm an MMA fighter. I mix it all together. Yes. So I'm just going to be mixing it up on him, man. If I see the takedown, I'm going to take it. Sick. I want to strike and land my own shots and really mix it with him and make it a fight.
Yeah, man. How selective are you with your sparring partners at the moment? Are you being selective?
Yeah,
like, you want to know a bit about their background before you get in the ring with them?
Nah, we just want high level guys. You know, that's the main thing when you're in camp. I just want to be sparring with the best guys that I can get.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like there's such a talent pool at the gym you're at the moment at Central Coast MMA. Do you think you're seeing a change in the amount of talent coming through compared to, say, 5-10 years ago?
Yeah, for sure, man. Like the more guys that we've got coming in here, and especially doing camp here, like we've just got more and more people coming in and getting after it. So like we've got a couple of young guns coming through, just young, hungry little fellas that are getting after it. So it's fun, man.
Yeah, dude.
It's good to see too. It's good to see that young guys still want to do like a sport like this, you know, with like the next generations, how you know, like just how soft
dude,
people are.
I can't believe you're saying this. I was talking about this with another friend. You think the next generation's soft?
Yeah, for sure.
I agree, dude.
Yeah.
I see it in skateboarding, actually, because I'm really into that. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like they have the same amount of grit.
Yeah, for sure.
You notice that?
Yeah. But like the next generation, I find are like a lot flashier and for fighting, like in regards to fighting, lot more flashier, a lot more technical, well-rounded, skillful and stuff. But the dog in them ain't as much.
Really?
No way, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think that is, I wonder? I don't know the answer. I think it's just a reflection of our society where we just have, everyone's just so like, in my opinion, I think a lot of our society, like people are lacking personal accountability because they know that they can get away with more and hide behind laws and policies. I don't know, like it's
For sure.
Does that make sense?
I think that you put that perfectly. Like, it's just the way that society's going. It's just like people aren't as accountable.
Yeah.
People aren't as like take it on the chin and do it themselves. There's always someone else to blame or hide behind.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just softer.
So, like, you know that I'm from Wollongong and I'm a huge fan of Alexander Volkanovski, you know, pride of the gong for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard the news, but the Wollongong mayor wouldn't give Alexander Volkanovski the keys to the city.
Yeah, I did.
Because he felt like it would be advocating for violence.
Yeah.
All right? Now, I'd like to hear your opinion on that. What do you think?
What a fucking idiot.
Fucking oath.
It's like, it's just uneducated. He's uneducated about our sport. Because I did see that. I saw what you're talking about, and I saw that even Joe said, all right, I'll offer him 6 months free training to come in to our gym and see how much discipline, respect is shown in the gym and in this sport. Like, it's just, and it's like anyone, like a lot of the old school guys that are big boxing fans and not like they're not in MMA because we hit each other on the ground and yada yada, like saying that there's no respect in it. It's just uneducated.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm actually going to use my platform to call him out because this is the same man that invited federal members of parliament to Wollongong to showcase the possibility of weapons manufacturing in Wollongong and the manufacturing of nuclear submarines. So it's an interesting contrast, you know. And it does. It's quite. I'm quite heated about it. I'm really upset about it because the values that MMA teaches people is so much more beyond what they see in the ring. Like, give us an insight into like a week of your life at the moment in terms of commitment, hard work and dedication. What does it look like?
Yeah, so we train pretty much 3 hours a day, sometimes more. We're putting our bodies through it, man. We're putting our bodies and mind, and you're just pushing the boundaries, like every single day that you're getting up. And then, so I'm like, I'll get up, I'm on like a strict diet, so dieting hard, strict, like not really strict.
So every meal is planned?
Yeah,
okay.
pretty well. And then in between sessions, I'm eating everything that I've got to eat at the right times. So then after all that, we're trying to just get that little bit of rest in between our sessions, and then I'm going again in the afternoon, just back to back every day. That's it.
So it's training numerous hours a day, counting every single meal, recovery sessions. So I noticed you did an ice bath straight after training.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. Do you feel violent outside the gym?
Not at all.
Why?
I don't have the energy.
Why? You don't have the energy?
Don't have the energy, and like it's just not what this sport's about, you know? It's like you come into the gym, even when I wasn't training full time, like after work, I'd come into the gym, like just feeling a bit stressed, a bit, you know, whatever's on your mind, shit day at work, whatever. And then you come in here and you're with your mates, you're having a good time, laughing, learning. You get beat up for an hour or whatever, and then you leave the gym, you just feel so much better, man. You feel like a load off your shoulders almost.
Yeah.
So it's like therapy.
it seems like it's so just part of who you are. It's like brushing your teeth now. You train, like you're just part of your life. But do you ever consider life after fighting? Are you going to really miss what's going on right now, this hard training? And
yeah, I think I'll miss it, but I'm fully aware that this is not forever, you know. So this is like, it's all the more reason to just attack it while I can, you know, while I'm young and I'm I feel like I'm coming into the prime years of fighting for me, physically, mentally, spiritually. So yeah, that's just like even more reason to just fucking give it a red hot crack.
So you're appreciating every session, aren't you?
Yeah, man.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I can see today.
It's like even on the tough days when you feel like crying, nothing's going right. I kind of find myself like laughing to myself because it's like you're living your dream, like you're doing literally what you love for a living. So yeah, you take the good with the bad and just appreciate it all, man.
You mentioned the word spiritual. Would you consider yourself a spiritual person?
Not a spiritual person, but I think that fighting is very the mind and the body and the spirit. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't consider myself a spiritual person.
Religious?
Nah, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
What about your family?
My parents are Catholic, but they had me like coming to church with them, and I lost my religious beliefs pretty young. So they never forced it on me or anything, you know. Yeah. And I'm like, the way I look at it is, if you're religious, you believe what you want to believe. And I've got no problem with that whatsoever, as long as you're not like trying to push it on me. And everyone's entitled to their own opinion and their own beliefs. So, but like you absolutely believe in whatever makes you happy to believe and be religious about or whatever. That's up to you.
Yeah. When you're backstage at these UFC events, like, you obviously see the other fighters preparing, correct? You know, are you watching any of them go through any like meditation or spiritual practices, especially some of the Islamic fighters? Do you ever see that?
No, I haven't really. I don't think I've really paid as much attention to that, to be honest. But I'm sure they would. Yeah, okay. I'm sure they would. They'd have their prayer or whatever. Yeah. I know the Islamics, the Muslim fighters are very, and like, man, hats off to them. Like, I know Jake Matthews just went Muslim. I don't know how long ago, but 6 months, a year or whatever. And I've got mates who have done the same thing, actually.
Have you?
Yeah. I've got mates that have become like they kind of live their life by the Muslim beliefs,
doctrine,
like their path
practices.
Yeah, they do their practices, and if that's like, I don't even know if they believe in the God, but they practice their ways and just it's
very disciplined.
That's the word I was looking for. It's like it's a disciplined way of life. Yeah.
That's kind of why I wanted to ask, because I think I could see why fighters are attracted to it, because it really aligns with how they're actually living their life anyway. Like, I see you just leading such a disciplined life.
Yeah.
You know, like you've got every hour of every day planned out. You know, for what potentially is going to be, is it 3 rounds you're fighting at UFC, or is it 5? Yeah. You know, for, so much work for potentially 15 minutes, you know, so that's really admirable, you know, and I think a lot of people in our society don't have that high level discipline. And I kind of personally feel like that's what's lacking. So when I'm a high school teacher, I'm trying to really advocate for disciplined lifestyles, you know, with the students I teach. I mean, what advice do you give to younger fighters coming through, like some of the blokes that are in the gym today? What are you saying to them?
I'd say that, like, my biggest advice is to make sure what you're doing, you love it. Like, you can't really you can't really evolve and get better if you're not enjoying what you're doing. So like, I would say like in going on with that is showing up with a good attitude. Like I think that's the key to getting better and to make yourself enjoy what you do. You know, show up with a good attitude. Be ready to train, have fun, have a laugh. I think that makes because what we do isn't easy. It's not a fucking easy thing to show up and do every single day. So why would you do it with a frown on your face or not having some fun? You know, that's why I love like all the boys here. We're the same as the lads down at Freestyle MMA. Like you've trained with the boys at Freestyle. They just take the piss out of each other constantly.
Yeah, constantly.
And that's what you got to do. Just make it fun.
It's like that's something Joe Lopez does really well.
Yeah. Joe's the man.
He's
for
kind
it.
of the leader of it and sets the tone. It really sets the tone, right?
He's like the glue that like he's like the man behind it all, and he's just.
Well, orchestrating the shit talking.
Yeah, it just sets such a good vibe in there, but you know what I mean? It does. It sets a great vibe because then everyone's showing up to the gym not like, oh, we're doing these fucked up hard sessions and doing it with, like I said, with the frown on their face. It's like everyone's showing up going, yeah, we're about to get fucked up, but let's have a laugh and enjoy it and take the piss out of each other.
It's so good.
Makes it so much better, man. Like it's hard to explain, but if you're sort of like been there and done it, you know what I'm talking about. It just makes it so much mentally, takes so much stress off.
Do you think the stereotypical fight gym, the culture in a stereotypical fight gym has changed over the years? So back in the day, there's this association that fight gyms are like this toxic masculine place where dudes are punching each other's heads in and things like that. Do you think there's been a real shift in that fight culture? Or are there much more respectable environments? It's not too macho?
I'm not really sure, to be honest, because I've never even experienced that. Like I've been fighting and training now for going on 15 years, and I've always found it to be just a respectful, nice place. Where, like I guess you still would get it in some gyms where they've got the egos, but the best saying I've ever heard in the first gym that I started training at was leave your ego at the door.
Gotcha.
Because we don't need that in here.
Yeah.
And the fight gym's the perfect place to get that beat out of you, you know.
Those personalities get sorted out so quick.
Straight away. They usually don't come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see someone come on the mat with an ego and with like sticking their chest out like they're the man. It's not the place to do it.
Do you think the more experienced fighters have a responsibility to set that tone in a gym though? That respectful tone?
For sure.
It's kind of like they're the custodians. They've got to set the standard for that.
Yeah, like, and it's just the way that a fight gym works, really.
Yeah.
Like, you got like, you've got like that sort of gym hierarchy almost. And that's why it's so respectful. Yeah, I think.
Like, could you imagine Volk carrying on with ego? Like,
never.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it'd be so weird. Like,
never. It's like you meet the best people in the fight gym.
You do,
in my opinion. Yeah.
No, it's so interesting
because you can't be doing this sport and stay in a gym and have that ego. It's you can't do it.
No bad blood, man.
No. Yeah.
Man, I want to talk a little bit about some of the past UFC fights. Like for you personally, fight of the year so far in the UFC that you've watched. Personal favourite fight. Any standouts for you?
This year?
This year. Because there's been some crackers.
Yeah, there has. Man, off the top of my head, who's
fun?
Yeah, what's been a good one?
It's a tough question, I know.
Yeah, you caught me off guard with that one, eh?
I mean, just recently, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, that was a good fight.
Was that an inspiring moment for you to watch?
Oh man, that was unbelievable. Yeah. didn't see that coming for starters, but just a high level fight between two of the best who have been at the top for so long too.
Yeah. So
long. So much respect between the two guys. Yeah, man, that was a good one. The Jack Dillon, that Hafez guy, that was a cracker fight. Yeah, that was one of the best ones as of recent. Anyway,
have you met Jack?
That I've seen. Yeah, I've met Jack. Yep.
Yeah, seems like a really nice guy.
Yeah. Met him backstage at the Perth fight, actually.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And this is the next big question. Do you think Volkanovski beat Makhachev?
Oh, man, I do. I think
you're not going to say otherwise.
But it's a biased opinion. But
I mean, it's so controversial. Everyone's talking. I mean, still.
Yeah. Like, you saw Joe Rogan in that? Did you see their reaction?
Yeah, he did the Fight Companion episode where they watched the fight live. Did you? Yeah.
And they were all like, "Oh, Volk's done it. He's done it." I wasn't certain when they were calling it out because it was a close fight, man. It was a close fight. Like, if you look at it round by round, Makhachev had more control time.
Yes,
but if you look at it as who had the bigger moments, Volk for sure. For sure, Volk had the bigger moments. It probably come down to one round. I think it was like maybe round 2 or 3, where it was like a toss-up sort of round.
Yeah.
But if you if it goes back to the control versus damage, Volk had more damage and was closer to finishing that fight. I think if it went another round, like Islam was done.
Oh, he looked cooked.
For sure.
And no one's got better cardio than Volk.
Yeah, he survived the last 3 minutes of that fight. He all he did was survive. But look, like it was, again, a close fight. I really want to see it again.
They've got to do it.
Yeah.
How nervous do judges make you?
Yeah, but man, you can't leave it in the hands of the judges, eh? Especially, and like judging is a hard thing too, because if it's a close fight, I feel like both guys think they did enough to win, and then the fans are obviously going to be like, whoever's, if you're going for this guy, you're going to obviously say he won. So you can't leave a close fight in the hands of the judges. No way. And then you see some fights that aren't even close, and it goes like a complete robbery.
I guess end of the day, judges are human. So then when if there's a crowd reacting behind them, it's got to be influencing it.
Yeah, there's factors.
That if they're the hometown crowd is always going to react more when their hometown hero gets a good strike in.
100%.
So I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. There's always going to be factors that persuade the judges, and sometimes even watching a fight live in the flesh can be different to watching it on the screen, and
Yeah, 100%.
It can be so different. You might miss things when you're cage side, but nah, yeah, you can't trust these judges especially because half of them have never even trained before.
Yeah,
like it's yeah.
Here's a question. I've asked this to other fighters I've spoke to. I remember I asked Jarrett Wilbraham this question. Do you feel like every human being should spar at least one round in their life to see what it's like and get to know themselves as a person? What do you think it would teach? What do you think it teaches a person when you're in a ring, just you and one other person?
I think it just teaches you what you're made of.
Yeah.
Like how much you can, again, going back to when you were asking about the mayor and like what this sport teaches you. Teaches you just what you're made of and how far you can push yourself mentally and physically. Yeah.
I just feel like your personality is exposed immediately.
Yeah. And the truth. It's a very honest sport. Like I always say, the rounds will tell the truth. of who's been working and who hasn't, you know. So it's a real honest sport, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great quote. I've never heard that.
Yeah. It says I think it's one of the most honest sports in the world because you can't hide.
There's nowhere to hide, hey.
No.
Yeah, and it's a real test of, you know, obviously physical, but I think your mental strength is fully exposed. So once you start getting a few hits in the face and the head, it's people easily can cower. But I just think personally it translates into everyday life, you know, that grit. And I think it's so good for people to experience that.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Realise you're not made of glass too.
yeah, I know.
Some people need that. Some people need a smack in the chops to be like, oh fuck, I'm not made of glass.
Like you're saying, like, so to build their confidence, like you are tougher than you think.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe getting in the ring and copping a few smacks is like that shows you that, you know.
You reckon?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I see that, man. I see. Yeah, I like I said, I'll never forget the first time I stepped in a ring boxing and got my nose started bleeding and I seen the blood coming out. Yeah, I just remember it was just so shocking. I was just like, okay, what am I gonna, you know, am I gonna give up or am I gonna keep going? And it's since then when life has dished out really difficult circumstances, I actually remember that first time in the ring. I went, no, like I am resilient. I can keep pushing, you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
it seems like that translates into your life pretty heavily as well.
Yeah, for sure. Fighting teaches you that 100%. Like if you can fight in MMA, like I think that there's not much that you are gonna wilt from. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's
like,
not much that's gonna throw you off.
Okay, I want to looking beyond UFC 293. Can you give us some insight into your contract with UFC? Like, how many are you guaranteed more fights,
No.
or is it performance based? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a performance based sport. Every contract that you sign for, that will pretty much put you in what kind of position you're in for your next negotiation.
So you're going fight to fight.
Yeah.
No guarantees.
That's why I'm fucking pissed off about that last one, man. Because like I'd be going 3-1 if that last one went my way.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and if obviously this next one in Sydney, win that one, I would be 4-1, and my only loss being to Jalen Turner, who's like top 15. So it would have put me in good position, man. But fuck, it's the fight game.
It is.
That's the way it goes.
Puncher's chance, right?
Yeah, man. One little mistake, so that's it.
Yeah.
They're the lessons. They're the lessons that you really do get better from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, is that motivating your training right now?
Oh,
that moment?
Fucking oath it is. Every single day that I'm training, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you need it. Sometimes you need something like that to happen, and it's just like I'm using that as motivation right now.
Yeah. I guess at this level, there's no easy fights, right? There's no such thing as an easy fight.
No.
Yeah. Wow. And I think that's an elite athlete. So many people never experience that. And that's how tenuous it is. It's like fight to fight, you know. You don't know if you're, you know, like, were you stoked to get offered this fight? Were you kind of on the fence, like, are they going to offer me another fight or?
Well, I knew that I was likely to get on this card because my matchmaker come backstage after my last fight. So I was getting checked by the doctor and that. And I thought I was fine. I was still going, fuck, he stopped it early.
I've seen that.
Yeah. And then Sean come up to me and just said, look, thanks for being like easy to work with, you know, just taking the fight. And he just said, we'll get you straight back on for Sydney.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, the good thing about that stoppage was it wasn't a really bad one, as in like physically, you know. It was like I got a quick shot, and the ref stopped it quickly, so I wasn't in. I think they gave me a 40-day suspension. I was back sparring like 3 weeks after the fight, light sparring.
Did you get on the back of the Volks Rodriguez fight camp?
Yeah.
So you went straight back into a fight camp.
Yeah,
To help with that.
Obviously, I wasn't.
You weren't sparring.
No, I went into sparring, but the boys, obviously, I trust all the boys. They're not going to be fucking like trying to knock us out in sparring. But I wasn't like, it was actually perfect to come back to because I had a 10-day break. Went over to Hawaii after the fight, had some chill out time, and then pretty much 10 days after the fight, I went straight back to Wollongong when I got home and was pretty much there for, I think, the last 2 weeks of Volks camp or something.
I thought you did.
Yeah, and it was with the perfect sort of intensity to go back to, but I wasn't in the middle, you know. Like, Volk's the man in the middle. He's got all the pressure and all the, like, high-intensity stuff getting put on him, but you're in that environment. Yeah. So it was actually perfect to come back to because it got me straight back into training. And when you're down in the fight house with that team, showing up to the gym every single day, you're pushing anyway. Even if you're not the guy in the middle, you just got that energy, that like championship camp, world champion fight camp energy. It's real. So that got me straight back into getting back into shape and
got you motivated.
Yeah, man.
You felt okay after that head knock though. You didn't. There wasn't like you felt pretty good straight after. You weren't.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I didn't feel like there was no headaches that night or anything like that. It was like a quick flash knockdown, and Herb Dean, he stopped the fight. He did a good job, good stoppage, and kept me safe and healthy.
Yeah, yeah. Because you didn't go down. You were wobbled.
Yeah, like
I mean, to be honest, it did feel like he jumped in early.
Yeah,
like I thought he would have even like let the other guy try and hit you a few more. Is it Naimov? Yeah, I thought he. Yeah, but he didn't. But I didn't. I sort of thought that I've seen, stoppages that are way slower than that. Like I thought he would have. Yeah, it did feel a bit quick. At the time,
I felt like it was quick, and I got straight up complaining, but then I watched it back and I was like, look, chances are I probably would have caught more damage and I would have been, knocked out completely. But it's just, it was a good stoppage, man, and that's the game. So I guess the plus side of it was I stayed healthy. Could go straight back into good training. Yeah.
You didn't rest, dude. But there's that good attitude too. Like, so you just, that even just then you're like, it was a good stoppage. You're taking it like a gentleman, like a champion. It's champion mindset. And speaking of champion mindset, and we will start to wrap it up soon, how much are you learning from Volk in terms of handling pressure? Because, I mean, does anyone handle pressure better than that guy?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Like, what do you observe about him? Because when you're in the gym with him, it's not unlikely for there to be all sorts of media there.
Yeah.
All eyes on him.
Man,
what are you learning?
That's a good question, actually. I think the biggest thing that I learned from him is, like, shut the fuck up and just get on with it. Because he's such a good dude in the sense of he's got time for everyone. Like, you wouldn't think that a guy that's got his schedule and his media and his training regime and he's just got time for everyone. Like, he's like us, like if so that kind of like teaches me not to be like big-headed in the sense of I've got to fight, so everything's about me and because it's not. Like, you've just got to do what you like. I think that's the only way I can put it is what I just said. Like, shut the fuck up and just get on with it. Like, because he is the example of that. Yeah. He's just the perfect example of someone who you see what he goes through and you're like, he's just like, you never even a sign of complaining or anything. He just gets on with it.
Yeah.
So it's like you just learn that from being around him.
Like, your core business is training and fighting, and the rest is just fluff. Because, I mean, there's not a day you go into that gym any day of the week when he's training, there's some kind of media there. Have you noticed that? There's always cameras in the gym and stuff, whether it's...
Yeah.
And I don't know how you switch that off. Like, I was even watching your spar today, and I got friend and photographer here today, Israel, was taking photos of you, and I was actually really admiring how much you were just blocking that out. I could see that you weren't even acknowledging the camera, you know. Is that something you got to learn?
I don't think so. I think like having someone in front of you trying to punch you in the face, that pretty much that's demands your attention.
Dude,
you know
there's some
what I mean?
pretty intense rounds today.
Yeah, that was good rounds, man.
Like, dudes were trying to knock you out.
Yeah, that was good sparring,
Yeah,
especially for this far out. It's like the perfect. We're just under 4 weeks, so the sparring's at that real high.
I thought, yeah,
high intensity. There's probably about two and a half more weeks of this.
Yeah, I was going to say, when are you going to start to tone it down?
Yeah, I like to
Next few weeks.
pretty much the second last week of fight camp is like your peak week, where you're peaking your fitness, and then taper off on fight week. It's funny. I think Colby Thickness from Freestyle, he said it to me best. He was like, I love fight week because like we don't have to flog ourselves. It's like, because people complain about fight week because you're cutting weight and that, but fight week, if you're doing your camp properly, like hard, fight week is an enjoyable week because you're just like resting. It's
putting it all together.
The moment that you've trained for is coming. So the exciting part is like finally almost there. So it's like it's fucking just exciting.
Hell yeah! You're looking lean. You know, on track for weight. Making weight's going to be an easy weight cut.
Yeah, I actually started this camp a little bit lighter, and I'm pretty stoked about it, and I feel better.
Yeah.
Working with Geordie, the fight dietitian, and especially for this opponent, he's not like a big, strong, heavy wrestler or anything, so we're not worried about. I can definitely afford to be lighter and quicker for this fight, and
sweet.
I feel better, man. I do feel better just being that extra kilo or so lighter.
Do you? Just lighter.
Yeah.
I mean, you look so loose today.
Yeah,
you really did. Like, and I was actually thinking, like, it's going to be his weight cut's going to be a piece of piss. Like, because we all know that they can be so taxing on some people, but you've just been so active this year, haven't you?
Yeah, no, it's been a good year. Like, I'm hoping this fight all goes well and come out injury free. I hope to get another one in, man. Four fights this year would be unreal.
You think it's possible?
Yeah. Like,
sick.
You see guys fight like 6 times in a year. I wouldn't want to do that because I feel like that's cooking yourself a bit.
Yep.
But you can do it. But 4 fights this year. That was kind of my goal. I don't know if I said that last time I was speaking now. Maybe I did. Yeah.
And that's why
that was my goal this year, so.
Dude. And that's why, like, it's very rare that I'll have the same guest on 3 times, but in a year. But it's just, I've been able to. I feel like I'm tracking your journey through this year now, and I've had you on before every single fight. And it's one thing I'm noticing now after having you on 3 times and having these conversations is, I just see you've always been focused, but I see like a real determined look in your eye that was a bit different. They're a bit different to the first few episodes. I can see that. And I don't know if it's the result of what's happened previous, but I can see this fire in you. I was watching it in sparring today. There's a real fire there, man.
Yeah.
So we're fucking cheering for you. UFC 293, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, man.
I'm looking forward to it.
Dude, so if you're listening, get on UFC Fight Pass, or if you've got tickets to UFC 93 in Sydney, mate, get on the Mullarkey Army bandwagon, dude. Yes, sir.
Get on there.
Is there anything you want to end on, brother?
Nah, bro. I'll give a shout out to the same group that I always shout out to. Talk to me, bro.
Yes.
Super important to talk to your mates, man. It's can't say it enough.
I love that you advocate for that. I was talking to Jack Brown, president of Talk to Me Bro, the other day, and that's effectively what I'm trying to do with this podcast. I've never said that I'm an MMA podcast or a skateboarding podcast or a surfing podcast. I just want to get dudes talking, and I just feel like, let's talk to the best dudes. So and you're one of them, man. So
No,
thanks.
same goes, Shan. You are too, bro.
Thanks, legend. And a big shout out to Israel Brinsden, our photographer this week. He's taken some beautiful 35 millimeter film shots of Jamie. So keep an eye out for him on the socials. And we're putting them out there. And yeah, it'll be sick. All right. Thanks, legends.
Us. Thank you.
You.